With the announcement of re-race tournaments, I've decided to put myself through the challenge of starting from scratch once more. With less of a budget this time around, we're going to have to rely heavily on trading to make it towards our goal, since we're not going to have as much chances of pulling what we need. It only makes sense since Final Fantasy is meant to be a trading card game, and I wanted to try it out the way it was meant to be intended. Viewers will have a say on the path that we take, to try to make this more of an interactive experience, as we strive to make it to the top. Will we succeed? Find out as you're watching Final Fantasy TCG, New Game Plus, Traders of Paradise. Welcome to the first episode of Final Fantasy TCG, New Game Plus, Traders of Paradise. This is your host, TCG Tacos. I'm really excited to have you all join me on this journey once more. If you've never watched New Game Plus before, it's exactly as it sounds like, starting the game all over again with no cards in my collection. Basically start off with the starter deck, or in this case we're going to be using the Anniversary Collection as our starting point. I put myself in the shoes of like a newer player. If they were to jump in, this is probably the first thing that they'll pick up. There's a lot of good staples in here, and it's a really good starting point for them to start out. I believe you can make a pretty decent deck and be able to play at your locals. All they have to do is just get more pieces. Eventually they could build something meta or something creative and make their way up. That's what we intend to do with this series. You know, our weekly budget this time is $30, which is less than last season's, which was $45. The reason why we're doing that is that we're going to be pushing trading very heavily in this series, as the title suggests. The reason for that is because Final Fantasy trading card game is a trading card game, and it's something that's been missing. You know, like if you have access, you know, to funds, you basically just take that out. You just skip ahead and just buy all the singles that you need, and you know, it takes out of like how this game was intended to be played. So this is how we're gonna try to build our way up. The goal in mind is the top 8, one of these re-raise events. So yeah, I mean, hopefully we're successful. If you've seen the video before showing off the Anniversary Collection, you'll basically see exactly what it is that's in the Anniversary Collection. We're just going to take a second here, take a look at all the cards and see what we're able to come up with. So after looking through all the cards, we wound up with a 3-color deck. The first card we're showing off here is Isana. It's able to search out either the chocolates in the deck. It's really cheap forward and it's really good in the late game, able to draw cards off of it. We've got 2 Ishtola for protection, 3 Zidane, able to rip cards out of your opponent's hand. It's also good information. Got 3 Mont Blanc EX, able to search out the Marsh, and the Marsh will get you back the 2 copies of Ritz, being able to untap your backups and eventually becoming unblockable. Seems like our win condition for now. 1 copy of a Selfie, the 3 copies of Squall that we have in the deck. The card is surprisingly good. You're able to pump on entry and also when attacking. It has haste, and on damage 3 you can make one of your opponent's forwards unable to block for the turn. So then it's also got a copy of Jessie, which will get a copy of Cloud, a good EX burst. We've got 2 Gabranth, we've got 3 forwards with 5 costs, be able to search out either one of them. 1 Larketius for the 2 Insuganashis that we have in the deck, also for protection. Rydia, we've got 10 summons in the deck. We've got 3 copies of Kusith, 3 Mist Dragon, 2 Bahamut for removal, also 2 Diabolos. got Meath to get you Peace, possibly Marsh or Ritz. We've got Moogle just to color fix for the Earth. And, speaking of color fixing, we've got a copy of Cosmos to make any color. And our other lightning card is Lightning. The effects on it are pretty good. When it swings, it's able to bounce it forward, either one of yours or your opponent's. And then the other effect, once per turn, you're able to dull something or activate something. So either you get rid of a blocker or you're able to produce a blocker if it's tapped. It's also EX burst, pretty good. We've got the 3 copies of Semilafina to reduce the cost of the Star Sybil. It'll search out either a copy of Semilafina or the one Shantota that we have in the deck. You can also break it to cheat a forward into play. That's it for the deck. Let's see how we do. So for the sake of content, we're only going to be putting one video with commentary. The rest I'll be putting up on the channel if anyone is interested in seeing. Our first run was against Daniel. He was trying out a new deck. He's playing Fusoya. And unfortunately he wasn't able to find the backups. He just stuck an early Iridia and kind of just had her way. So round 2 we're playing against Geo. Geo's playing RPP. He ended up winning the die roll and he chose to go first. So the first thing that Geo is going to be doing is paying 4 CP for Sarah. Ends up searching Princess Sarah. Then he passes his turn back to us. Paying 2 for Semilafina, pass back to Geo. Taps 1 CP for Princess Sarah, declares fire as his element, passes to us. Paying 3 for Star Sybil, search out Shantota, and we discard Ritz's for hand. Geo plays Luca for turn, sends Kusith for discard for hand size. Paying 4 for Mont Blanc, getting Marsh to hand. Next we just pay 2 for Cosmo and passes back. Geo pays 4 for Kolka, getting Rydia, and then with that he passes back to us. We cracked Star Sybil, put Marsh into play, attempting to get Ritz. In response, he pays 3 for Mist Dragon. We end up responding with our Mist Dragon, cancelling the Mist Dragon, and resolving putting Ritz into play. We enter battle, which will swing, untapping the 3 backups. Hits for damage. Terra, getting back Cactuar to hand. 2, we put Jessie, getting Cloud, and adding to hand. We pass back to Geo. He puts Rydia into play. Sorry, camera issues. Ends up paying 5 to put Fusoya into play. It's got 2 triggers because it has 2 colors. Ends up drawing and getting back Kusith. This also ticks up the Rydia. Cast the Kusith for free, getting back a copy of Luca back to hand, and passes back to us. End up paying 3 for Zidane, attempting to look at his hand. Chooses to Amat for free. We swing with the Ritz, untapping 3 backups. Swinging and hitting Shantota for damage. Arch ends up going in next. Hitting Leviathan, EX Burst, sending back the Ritz. Main phase 2, put down another Zidane, taking a look at his hand. Choose to rip the Luca, so you can't do the special, and we pass it back to him. Ends up using Kusith for free to get Luca back to hand. And pays 4 for Terra, gets Amaterasu back to hand. Swings in with Fusoya, hitting Selfie. And we end up searching out Squall and adding to hand. Passes back to us. 3 for Squall. On enter, we give Zidane the +2, swinging in with Zidane. Then we go in with Marsh next. We're putting it at 5, swinging in with Squall, helping itself. It blocks with the Terra. Then main phase 2. I think this is where we make a mistake. We end up overpaying for a backup when we should have stuck a forward. And this also locks us out of backups. So, Geo starts the turn by playing Palom, passes back to us. Pay 4 for Lightning, and immediately tap 1 to Delta for Soya by milling 2. Next we pay 3 to put Ritz into play, and attempt to enter combat. He blanks the Ritz with Palom, so does not have haste. Squall goes in for damage, attempting to trigger, but he blows it up with the Amont. We swing in with Marsh. Lets it through. It gets Lenore for damage, putting him at 6. Searches out Palom and passes back to us. Before then, he uses the Lucas special to blow up Lightning. Starts his turn with the Palom. He follows it up with Aerith. Tries to end. We take up the Chocolat. And then passes to us. Paying 2 for Insuganashi. We attempt to go to combat. He chooses to target Ritz with both effects. We just let it go. End up passing the turn. On his next turn, he ends up using both effects, Palom Form on the Marsh to get rid of it. Swings in with Fusoya, hitting another copy of Marsh. Tries to pass, we take up the Chocolat. And they get counters, he has to discard down to size. It goes to us, drawing a card with Chocolat. Before we end, he ends up getting rid of the Zidane, putting back to us, main phase 2. End up playing Zidane, uses Amont on that, so let that go, give it back to Geo. It goes immediately into swinging in with Fusoya. We end up using Diabolos to break it and untap our backups, so it gets put in the break zone. We untap our backups. Swings in with the Aerith, hitting a Stola. Then Rydia goes in next, getting Semilafina, goes main phase 2, pays 5 for another copy of Soya. It has 2 triggers. Before he's able to use it, we misdrag out the break zone. So all he's able to get is just the draw. Passes back to us. Before it ends, we take up the Chocolat. And this one's get counters. We try to somehow sneak a game. We play the Gabranth, searching out Marsh. We attempt to put the Marsh into play. Paying 5, targeting the Ritz, has the Amaterasu, attempt to pass, it's going to target, we use the Insuganashi on the Gabranth, uses a Tomos in response, and at that point we just concede, we move to round 3. Round 3, we wound up getting the bye, so that put us at a 2-1 record. We managed to tie first place with Geo, so we split the store credit of 15 each, just nothing really to spend it on, so we're just going to pocket it for now. Then there's a matter of the foil flirt that we're playing for. The guys came up with a solution, do something they hadn't done before. Instead of playing our usual decks, what they did is they each took 2 decks each. everyone else that's besides Gio and myself, we labeled each deck, so we're talking 6 decks. Gave them a number, and then we each rolled a dice. Whatever it landed on, we ended up playing that deck. So I ended up taking it, but it wasn't very pretty. I have the video, but I'm honestly ashamed to share it because there was just so many misplays. I think even like a few people from Discord just cringed from watching it. If you're interested in watching like the horrible misplays, I'll put it up publicly. But until then, I'm just going to keep it there. So we did end up taking Tilica, and that was pretty much it for the day. I could say week 1 was definitely a success. Anniversary Collection gave us a strong foundation, and now this can branch out into a lot of different ways. Right now, as far as product, we've got Opus 16 packs, we've got the FF10 custom starter, and Avalanche vs. Shinra to be able to pick up like right now. We also have anniversary kits, but that's outside of the budget, and I don't plan on picking one up unless it's store credit. Any other products we plan on picking up, it's going to probably take about a week to have shipped out, but I do intend on picking up other things if you know, if people do choose to do that. I'm definitely interested in hearing what viewers have in mind as far as how they'd like this to go. If you can please write in the comments like what deck you want us to pursue and the product you want us to go for. I'm really excited on how this is going to turn out. It's either going to be a great success or it's going to end up horribly wrong. But you know, it's all up to the viewers. If you have time, feel free to leave a like, comment, share it with your friends, or subscribe. Any little bit helps the channel grow. I'm also going to be doing a small giveaway within the week, so please stay tuned for that. Thanks for watching Final Fantasy TCG New Game Plus, Traders of Paradise. Take care, and we'll see you on the next episode.
Joe, you have to use your chicken nuggets as counters for anything, okay? Hold on, let me get a pack before you start doing dumb things.
I mean, I only need one.
I'm ready. I got counters on deck.
This video is sponsored by Burger.
Telling you, bloopers work, bro. People like funny shit. And you thinking you're gonna win is one of them.